So hello guys, I hope you're all well and having a great week. So tonight, Middlesex University Product Design Engineering and Design Engineering are really excited to host the sixth talk in the annual guest lecture series. So this series runs weekly throughout the academic year on Thursday evenings, bringing together a vibrant mix of speakers from across the full spectrum of design and engineering. So a mix of leading practitioners, opinion leaders, radical thinkers, and emerging talents to inspire and support your professional development. Tonight, we're excited to host Jessica Lark. She's a marketing director at Gradcracker. And Gradcracker is the UK's careers website for science, technology, engineering and maths, the STEM subjects. And with over 250 employers advertising their work placements and graduate opportunities on gradcracker.com, this particular webinar is going to be full of hints and tips from Jessica at Gradcracker and a great opportunity to discover STEM employers and the different industry sectors you can work in. As usual, guys, feel free to gather your thoughts, your questions, your comments, your sentiments in the chat throughout the talk. We'll have Q&A at the end as well. And there's also the option to go live and interact after the main talk. And without any further ado, over to Jessica Luck with a talk titled How to Become a Successful Job Hunter on Gradcracker. So Jessica, it's all yours.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for having me today, this evening. It's lovely to be here to speak to you all. So really in this session, what I want to do is kind of talk you through Gradcracker, talk you through the benefits of using the website, and really to explain to you all really how to get the most out of Gradcracker, because there's lots of areas on the site which you might not have used before or might not even be aware that you can find. So as Ahmed mentioned, so Gradcracker is the UK's careers website for STEM students. So we are a platform which advertises nearly 300 employers, placement and graduate opportunities. And we are a platform which I would definitely recommend you all to be using at every single stage of your kind of university journey. So whether you're a first year student or a final year student, you should definitely be using Gradcracker to kind of discover the world of STEM and the different industries that your degree discipline can take you, but also to start thinking about putting applications in and start to understand the market and the different industry sectors that are out there. So in this session, like I mentioned, I will kind of talk you through Gradcracker, some key areas and how to get the most out of the website. So hopefully you are all thinking about putting some applications in. So I know I've got quite a lot of second year students today, so maybe thinking about maybe doing a year in industry or a summer placement, and we've got some final year students on the call as well. So as we've mentioned, I know we've got the chat feature, so it'd be great to hear from you if you've got any questions, any thoughts, or even any concerns or worries, because honestly, no question is a stupid question. And if you're thinking it, there's probably someone else thinking the same thing. So please do ask away and take full advantage. So hopefully you can all see my screen. This is the Gradcracker homepage. So I'm just going to get rid of this little box. I'm going to put you in the corner, Ahmed, and then
that's totally cool. That's totally cool.
See your lovely face in the corner. Right. Okay. So this is Gradcracker homepage. So first thing I would definitely recommend you all to do is to actually register on Gradcracker as a student. Now, you don't actually have to register to see the employers and their opportunities, but over the years, we have put lots of features in place that's going to help you to stay organized and stay on top of your job hunting if you do get registered. So if you're not registered on Gradcracker already, in the top menu where currently says my dashboard, there'll probably be a login or register button. Now to do that, it literally takes like 30 seconds. And once you've done that, you'll get access to different features called the follow feature, the shortlist feature. And like I say, all these little tools are going to help you to stay on top of the employers and their new opportunities, and also the opportunities that you're actually going to be applying to. So what I'll do within this presentation is kind of talk you through when to use these features and how to get the most out of them, but I would definitely get registered. First things first. Also to highlight, when you register, you can register under these 8 main disciplines here, and these are the 8 main disciplines that you can find on the homepage of the site. So a lot of you will be registering under mechanical manufacturing. Once you click under mechanical manufacturing, you'll then see a drop down for product design, which then it will show results that are more relevant to you. But for now, register under mechanical manufacturing, and then that will keep you in the right direction. Also, just to highlight, throughout this presentation, I'll probably use the term placements. And what I mean by placements could be multiple different types of placements you'll find on Gradcracker. So we actually advertise first year summer placements. So that's for students in their first year looking for summer placement between the first and second year. And then you've got summer placements for your second and third years. And then you've got year-long opportunities. You've got 1 to 6 months. You've even got short-term experiences that are insight events, what we call insight events anyway. So for the sake of this presentation, I'm just going to group all those opportunities under the heading of placements. I hope that's okay. I know sometimes it even depends where you are across the country. I think sometimes the use the word more internships or placements, but yeah, for the ease of the presentation, I'll just group it as placements. Obviously, you can find your graduate opportunities on Gradcracker as well. So if there is any final year students thinking about putting applications in now, this is the time to apply into those roles as well. So just to introduce you all really to Gradcracker, because you will see lots of things whizzing past on the screen. This is our busiest time here at Gradcracker. This is really when lots of employers have started to go live with their placement and graduate opportunities. This is when employers are really kind of going out to market with their opportunities. So the graduate and undergraduate calendar really coincides with the academic year. So what I definitely recommend you all to be doing is really using Gradcracker at least every other day at the moment to keep on top of new opportunities that have been added to the site, but also any imminent deadlines as well. So something that we've got at the top, which is a good way to stay on top of new opportunities, is our latest feature here. It's what we call a bit like a ticker message, a bit like the breaking news on, say, the BBC or Sky Sports website or whatever. So yeah, have a look at those areas as well. Something else just to highlight is, I know you might be thinking, oh gosh, and another event to be attending, but every Thursday, 2 till 3, we actually run our own events here at Gradcracker, and they're called Gradcracker Weekly Webinars. Each week we speak to one of our employers. So this afternoon, we actually had a session with the RAF, so the Royal Air Force, and we spoke to flight lieutenants, engineering officers there to really find out what life is like within the RAF. Next week, we've got Sellafield, which is an energy firm, and we're finding out what life is like with that company. So we're speaking to the recruiter, recent grads and interns and things like that. Now, I've worked at Gradcracker for a very long time, and sometimes I even hold these sessions myself with misconceptions, maybe even thinking I already know about the company and the industry. And sometimes I come out of these sessions and I'm like, wow, I didn't even realize this employer got involved in these kind of projects, or even, was involved in these certain industries. Now, lots of these employers that attend these sessions recruit from all STEM disciplines. So lots of students like yourself would be able to actually apply for their opportunities. And the great thing about Gradcracker is you're going to come across employers you might never have even considered before. So attend as many sessions as you can. I know it's a busy time for you all, but the more knowledge you get, the better your applications can be, because you can be more passionate and interested about that employer because you've done your research. So please don't underestimate the importance of that. Okay, I just want to highlight as well that really that Gradcracker is more than just a jobs board. So yes, you're going to find all the placement and graduate opportunities within the job search, but also on Gradcracker, you're going to come across lots of resources within the Gradcracker Career Centre that really can help you right through the application process. So for example, what a lot of you will start to learn when you start to put in applications into these employers, lots of these application processes have multiple rounds. So for example, you might put your application in, say, today. After that, you could be invited to, say, do some online tests, which might consist of psychometric tests or situational judgment tests. I know the new trendy one at the moment is gamification testing. After that, then you could be invited to, say, do a video interview. After that, it could be an assessment centre day. So like I said, there's multiple rounds. So once you've kind of started on that journey with that employer, you want to make sure you can nail absolutely every stage of the application process. So what we've done within the Career Centre, we've talked you through the full process, what to expect and how to prepare and how to do it successfully. Obviously, use the career service here at Middlesex. Make sure you really, getting the most out of getting your application checked or your CV checked from the career service here, and make sure you're using as many resources as possible to help you with all elements. So you can really make sure that you do go into the whole process as successful as possible. Okay, I'm going to jump into the search then, and so I'll click say placements. Again, just to let you know, throughout this presentation, there might be some students thinking, oh, well, that opportunity that you've shown me on, in this presentation actually isn't relevant or whatever, or it's a placement opportunity, you might be looking for a graduate position. A lot of the advice that I'm going to give within this session is interchangeable for graduate and placement opportunities. So, just bear that in mind. And if it is an employer or an opportunity that I click on, again, the layout for each employer and job description is quite similar, so just bear that in mind when you are when you are obviously listening to the presentation. Sorry, excuse me, I'm just going to turn off my watch. It's just will not stop pinging, so really distracting. Let me just turn that off. Sorry, I do apologize about that. It's like vibrating on my hand. Okay, so now we've selected mechanical manufacturing. As you can see, you can then select by product design. Then you can select by your placement or graduate opportunities. Earlier, I did talk about different placement opportunities you can find on Gradcracker. So this is what you can then do here, is drill down the different placement opportunities you can find. Now, to be honest with you all, I could do a full presentation and bore you all to tears about how important doing a placement really is. Honestly, I see it firsthand every day. So many times I'm speaking to people who have, done a placement, now out in industry or doing a graduate opportunity, and they say, gosh, I wouldn't have been where I am today if it wasn't for my placement that I got whilst at university. I have a classic one the other day. We actually did a webinar with Lloyd's Banking Group, and we spoke to a lady there. She was called Jenny, and she actually did aerospace engineering. She went and did a placement with an aerospace company and got that experience, thinking that was the industry she actually wanted to work in. And after that experience, she came out thinking, actually, do you know what? I really don't actually want to work in that industry sector. I'm actually really interested now in software engineering. So she went back to a university, did a final year, kind of tailored it more towards software engineering. And now she's working for Lloyd's Banking Group. And in this webinar we did with her, she was like, no way, if I hadn't got that experience, would I be in the position I am in now, doing a fantastic opportunity, which I really enjoyed. She said, I would have been back applying for aerospace opportunities and then just figuring out maybe after just doing a graduate program that wasn't the industry for her. So if you are thinking of doing a placement, honestly, it's massively beneficial for you as an individual to test drive your career, as cheesy as that sounds, but also a chance for you to really understand the market and see, is that the employer, is that the industry I want to work in? Another thing I want to quickly highlight just on placements is that you'll find as well, a lot of our employers use these placement opportunities really as a recruitment tool as well. So if you are successful getting a placement, it's really quite common that if you perform well whilst out on placement, the employer will invite you back for their graduate positions, or they'll maybe fast track you through the application process or something like that. And how fantastic would that be, going into your final year knowing you've already secured a job? So just bear that in mind if you are considering it, because honestly, it'd be massively beneficial. Another thing I just want to quickly highlight is insight events. Now, this is kind of a new filter which we've added to the search. And this was really off the back of the pandemic. And lots of our employers really wanted to still offer placement or, short-term experiences for students. And what they did was, whether it be a week or a day or a couple of weeks long, a lot of our employers started to offer really kind of short-term virtual kind of days, weeks, like I say. And you can search by this now on Gradcracker, and it's quite interesting. What you are finding that quite a lot of them are coming from finance or banking or law, intellectual property firms, which for some of you might turn you cold and might think, actually, no, I'm really not interested in a career in finance. But you never know at this stage in your career. The more you keep your options open, the more that you can then shut doors later on. So do consider it. All these opportunities have said that they would accept an application from your discipline, whether it be in product design. So it might be you have a look, consider it. It might be something you actually realize, actually, no, I don't want to work there, or you think, actually, I do. Okay, something else I just want to highlight as well when you're going through the search is the region and city. So you can search by location when you're on Gradcracker. Now, to be honest, I'd actually recommend you all to keep that actually option closed. The reason for this, the more flexible you can be in your job hunting, the more opportunities that you're actually going to come across. And sometimes what you're going to come across on Gradcracker is that an employer can't actually specify a certain location yet for their recruitment, because they might have multiple projects across the UK at different times. And lots of our employers now know that, you know, they can help with relocation. And if you do need to move, even for a short-term experience, they've got lots of resources in place to help you with that. Also, lots of our employers now have embraced this kind of remote working hybrid approach. So more than ever before, it makes sense that you could actually be doing an opportunity where you are today, but you could actually be working with a company maybe that's based up in Scotland, for example, and you could do, you know, your work sufficiently by working from home. So do bear that in mind as well. The more flexible you can be, again, the more opportunities that you're going to come across. Other thing I want to highlight as well is deadlines. Again, I know it sounds a bit self-explanatory, but please do bear that in mind when you're looking for opportunities. You're going to start to see lots of employers now on in right through to the kind of the festive period and into the new year, lots of employers with imminent deadlines. So typically we see a huge spike in employers closing out their placement and graduate opportunities in the January period. So if you see you like it, get your application in. I've literally just had an email from a student actually just before this webinar saying they're interested in a Procter & Gamble opportunity, but the deadline is ongoing. You know, when is this employer gonna close? Now, some employers will do that. They'll just put on the deadline as ongoing, and that basically means they'll close that opportunity as soon as they've had a sufficient amount of applications. So basically what I'm saying here is if you see you like it, again, apply. Don't sit and wait until the day before the actual advertised day, or don't wait on a role to apply, because I don't want you to miss out. Okay, so let's start to have a look at some opportunities then. So I'll try and keep it as open as I can, so to make sure everyone's seeing roles that they're interested in. So as you can see, when you start to scroll through Gradcracker, you're going to come across, again, employers and opportunities that you might not have considered before. So just within a couple of scrolls, we might come across, let's say, Caterpillar, which is a huge construction and mining manufacturer. Obviously, a lot of you will have seen their machines and stuff, maybe up on the roads or when they're building things. Jacobs, they're a huge consultancy firm. MBDA, they're a huge defense firm. Go Ahead Transport, Ford, automotive manufacturer. Nuclear Graduates, Nuclear. Morrison's, you'll have heard of Morrison's supermarket chain. Babcock, they're a huge engineering and defense firm. Leonardo, they create aerospace, so quite a lot of aerospace. I didn't say that. I meant to say helicopters. That's the word I'm thinking of. They create a lot of those. Bank of America, finance. Eaton, management company. So what I'm trying to say is, just within a couple of scrolls on Gradcracker, you've got manufacturing, you've got defense, finance, fast-moving consumer goods, manufacturing, and that's within 2 or 3 scrolls. So this is what I really want you all to kind of embrace, the different routes and different opportunities that are out there. And it might be that it's not a screaming obvious route for you to go down with product design, but there's going to be lots of employers that are going to recruit from your discipline because of the skills and everything that you've, gained whilst at university. You've gone to have covered so many different things that will be so transferable to lots of other different industries. Again, all these opportunities that we're showing you are still very, very technical. It's not sales or marketing. It's still very, heavy technical opportunities, but it might be opportunities that you might never consider before. If you are absolutely adamant it is product design route that you want to go down, you can search by keyword search, and that will bring up these kind of specific opportunities that might be more relevant for you. So do bear that in mind. But again, it's all about being flexible. You're not just going to see your exact job description, degree title on each job description. Okay, we'll click into this particular opportunity then, just since it's there, and we'll have a look what P&G have to offer. Sorry, I'm just going to jump out of the placements tab. I'm just going to jump into the hub home. and then I can talk you through a company hub. So every employer that advertises on Gradcracker gets what we call a company hub. So a company hub is pretty much like an employer's own little website within Gradcracker. So whether it's a huge organization like Procter & Gamble, so P&G here, or if it's a small SME that might actually only have 10 people in the business, every single employer gets this same space. Now, the reason why we do this is so students like yourself can put a good application together. Now, everyone's going to keep telling you you need to put a tailored, targeted application together, and you're not going to be able to do that if you haven't done your research. So what we've done within these company hubs is giving you all the information you need to put a good application together. So you can work out, for example, what's their stance on sustainability? You know, what's the working environments like? What kind of people do they recruit? What kind of projects are they working on? All that kind of information that you can then decide, right, one, is this the right employer for me? Can I imagine myself working there? Am I excited about what they do? And then two, if you think, yes, I like this company, then how can I make sure I'm going to be the perfect candidate for them? And you're only going to be able to do that is if you research, read the blogs, watch the videos, and get a really good indication of what they have to offer. Another thing I would definitely recommend you to do as well is if you are a student thinking about doing a placement opportunity, even have a look at the graduate positions that they offer as well. Because again, if you perform well with this employer, like I mentioned earlier, it's really, really common that they'd invite you back for the graduate position. So if you can really imagine a career there, then you can even mention that you've even looked at the graduate positions. And again, it's all about showing off and, showing off that you've done your research. Okay, I'm going to click into an opportunity then. Let's look at that product design one that we were looking at earlier, just so it's more relevant to you all. So again, as I mentioned, these kind of company hubs look really quite similar layouts, and so does the job descriptions. So again, this could be any employer, any opportunity, but just to look at the right-hand side. So have a look at the opportunity overview here. Some things I just want to highlight. I've mentioned it before, but deadlines. So again, don't sit and wait on an opportunity. I have had some employers this year actually close out opportunities earlier than originally advertised because they've had a sufficient amount of applications. So again, if you see it, you like it, apply. Another thing to highlight as well is salary. Now, every single opportunity that we advertise on Gradcracker is paid. So just that you know about salary bands. So roughly for placement opportunities, we can see vary from £15,000 up to about just over £20,000. And then for graduate roles, you can see about £20,000 up to about £30,000. We've got some employers that completely smash that barrier, a boundary, band, whatever. I've got some employers that offer £50,000 starting salaries for some of their grads, which is absolutely phenomenal. So just bear that in mind. You are in demand, and none of the opportunities that we advertise on Gradcracker is unpaid. Another thing to highlight as well, more so for the placement opportunities, but some employers might specify, even for a placement, that they require a certain grade. Now, I know this can put students off because they might think, oh, I haven't got that grade yet. I don't really know where I am. So some employers, for example, might specify here 2, 1 and above. So basically what we want you to do here is have some conversations with your tutors, with your lecturers, figure out what you achieved in previous years to understand what you're likely going to achieve this year. As long as you're on track to receive that grade, then you're absolutely fine. The employer knows that you haven't achieved that grade yet. It's really just to give the student to give the student an idea of the caliber of kind of student they want to apply to their roles. So just bear that in mind as well. Obviously location, that's important too. Okay, going to look now on the left-hand side and start to have a look at some of the body copy. Because what you'll start to understand is quite a lot of our employers will ask for quite similar skills. So what you'll start to learn is that our employers know that you're not going to have a CV full of relevant work experience, especially the life that we've been living for the last, 2 years nearly, of being locked up and not being able to even get a part-time job or anything like that. So you might never have even had any work experience before. So employers now are really looking for additional skills. So not just the technical skills that you've learned at university, but also those kind of skills that really give you a good foundation of being a future leader of the business. And what I mean by that is skills like being a good problem solver and being a good communicator, showing off that you're passionate and that you're interested. Even giving an example of maybe being able to kind of upskill yourself. So have you done any projects maybe outside of the curriculum that can show to the employer that you are genuinely passionate and interested about the degree that you're studying? They're the kind of things that the employers absolutely love. And please don't underestimate the importance of that. So when you are going through the job description, think about, what is this employer asking for, and how can I really make sure I kind of use this job description as a bit of a checklist to prove that you've got all those skills. Now, lots of careers advisors that I speak to encourage you all to kind of use the STAR method when thinking about these kind of soft skills. And what I mean by that is STAR is an abbreviation, or whatever you call it, for situation, task, action, result. So for example, if we say just talk about communication skills, can you think of a situation that you've been in that can prove to the employer that you're a good communicator, unlike me? Can you think of a task, an action, a result, and how did that all work for you, that you can prove that you've got those skills? So again, it could be a situation that you've been in your actual, university life, could be a module or project that you were working on, or again, it could be something outside of the degree curriculum to kind of show off maybe another skill or another passion. And I know I'm kind of laboring this point, but again, I think sometimes students are a bit nervous to think, can I apply to this? Have I got the right qualifications? And you have, trust me, you have. You are so much more qualified than a lot of you think you are. And you've got lots of skills that the employers are looking for. It was a classic the other day with another webinar we did. We were speaking to Kinetic. They're a huge defense firm. And the recruiter there, Mike, said, he'd asked some of I can't remember if it was a grad or an intern position, he asked the candidates to do a presentation, and this particular candidate did a presentation on his interest in spiders and spider webs and all this stuff, and he was like, it absolutely was not relevant to the industry, not relevant to the business, but his passion and interest came through so well that Mike thought, well, if he could talk or she could talk about that particular subject, then absolutely, we just need to teach them about the business and about the industry sector, and they can talk about that. So yes, please don't underestimate those kind of skills and qualities. Okay, another thing to highlight as well, majority of the application processes will be an online application now. It's quite uncommon that it's going to be a CV and cover letter by an email. So just bear that in mind. Please do have a CV and cover letter prepared, but it's quite common it will be an online application. So what will then happen, you'll click apply online, then you'll start the application process direct with that employer. Before you actually apply, I definitely recommend you all to save these opportunities to your shortlist. So again, this is a feature I mentioned right at the beginning, you can only use if you're registered. Now, by saving an opportunity to your shortlist, it basically means that you can always refer back to the job description at every single point in the application process, even when the opportunity deadline has passed. Because what will happen is if you don't save this particular opportunity, by the 1st of February, this opportunity will come off Gradcracker and it'll come off the employer's website as well. But if you've saved it, it means you can always refer back to it. Sorry, so this is now taking me in my dashboard section under job shortlist, if no one saw that. So here now you can make any application notes. So for example, earlier we were talking about the STAR method, we're talking about communication. So for example, you could then say, right, for example, this particular application, I made a particular point about a certain thing that was unique to that. Again, it's all about making your lives easier. There's no point doing all this research and putting all the effort in twice. So make any notes here. Also on the right-hand side, you can then tick off where you are in the application process. And then absolute worst case scenario, you're not successful, you can just remove it and then move on to your next opportunity. I would say this time of year, I would recommend you to be applying to at least one opportunity a week. So I would work first half of the week doing your research, making sure you're the right student, right candidate for that employer, and then back into the week, putting your application in. I would be doing that now right up until January, February, and even into springtime. And if you can work to that kind of time frame, I think you're casting your net wide enough now to make sure you're definitely going to be successful to land that placement or graduate opportunity. What I want you all to be in is a situation where you're then having to turn the employers down because you've got so many offers coming through, rather than you having to take one opportunity, which maybe isn't the one that you really, really do want. So yeah, the realism of this is that you're going to be applying to multiple opportunities. It's very unlikely that you're going to land your dream job in the first application. So now on in, it's all about being resilient, learn from your mistakes, right? You do get a rejection. How are you going to handle that rejection? How are you going to learn from it? Move on to make sure that your next application is going to be the best application you've done. Now, trust me, it's not just you going through it, it's other people going through it as well. So do not get disheartened. I promise. It might feel really, really tough when you get a rejection letter or a rejection email. You might think, why have I bothered? But trust me, keep going and you'll be absolutely fine. I know how hard it is. I see it every year. But I promise you, if you put the hard effort in now, I promise you it'll pay off in the long run. Okay. That's my spiel on applying for those jobs. Another thing I want to quickly highlight as well is if there is a particular intersector you are interested in, you can search by intersector A to Z in the top menu. So say, for example, I don't know, picking one at random, say it was manufacturing. Don't know, picking it random. What you can do here is you can use another feature, would be really useful. So the follow feature, this is when it comes into its own here. So for example, 3M have said to us here that they're not going to open their placement or graduate opportunities until the winter. So that could be next month, or it could be January, February time. So if you follow them on Gradcracker, it basically means we'll alert you as soon as they open. And then what you can do on Gradcracker is you can then change your alert preferences. So for example, if it is just placements you're looking for, or if it is just graduate positions, you then can make sure that we're going to send you opportunities that are relevant for you. You can then also download the app and get push notifications and things like that. So make sure you do that because it will be massively beneficial. You can still see everything about that employer, even if they are closed. So again, you could start doing your research now. Think, yeah, this is an employer I really, really like. Let's follow them. Again, there's no point making your lives harder for yourselves. No point doing the research twice. So if you see them, you like them, follow them if they're not open, and then we'll alert you as soon as they open so you can first get your applications in. Okay, quickly, I'm going to just show you around the Gradcracker Career Centre. So this is the area which I mentioned earlier, which hopefully will, again, kind of bring everything now together, what I've mentioned. So the webinars, like I mentioned right at the beginning, these are the upcoming webinars that we've got. I think these are booked up right now till end of January time, but we've got a whole new season even into the new year. So lots of employers from lots of different industry sectors. Again, you'll all start to see a lot of these employers recruit from all STEM. So please come along. Obviously, everything I've shown you is absolutely free, so take full advantage. You can watch back on previous sessions as well. So for example, the classic was Mercedes Formula One. So we've done a session with them for the last couple of years, and the students that watched, or some students that watched the first webinar we did with them, ended up watching the webinar, applied to Mercedes Formula One, ended up getting the job, mentioned in their application that they watched the webinar. And then this year, we actually then did a webinar with them. So it was really quite nice to speak to, interns that, were in a very similar situation to yourselves and actually end up landing the job. So yeah, it's lots of really positive stories. So as well, I'm just going to highlight that Lloyds Banking one on that stock exchange. I know I keep talking about placements, but again, it could be interchangeable with graduate opportunities. But yeah, this was Jenny, and an amazing story she had to tell. So even if you're not interested in Lloyds Banking Group, it's probably worth just to watch back. And then what we've done as well, we've cut these webinars up into kind of short snippets as well. So have a look back. Again, the more open you are, the more opportunities you'll be exposed to, which is great. Another thing I want to highlight is the Gradcracker career coach. So this is the area I mentioned earlier that's going to talk you through the full application process. So right through to how do I even look at a job description? How do I even start to understand, do I want to work for a large organization or do I want to work for a small one? What does that look like? And then all the way right through to actually starting the job and what to expect on your first day. So again, a lot of you will start to learn that these application process, if you don't mind me saying, it can be quite long-winded. And there's multiple rounds. So we all want to make sure that you go into each stage, fully prepared. So say, for example, if it is an online test, whether it be a psychometric test or whatever, if that is the next round, do your research, understand, even if it's with an employer that you're not even got the test with, the more that you research, you'll start to understand a lot of employers will be putting you through the same kind of experiences. So again, the more you prepare, the better you'll perform. So have a good look through that. Another thing we've done as well is we've put all this information again into a little ebook format on how to become a cracking candidate. And then we've kind of backed it up with quotes and little hints and tips from our employees as well. So have a good look through that. Quickly, I'm just going to quickly show you the Student STEM Societies page. So earlier, I was mentioning about, you might not have a CV that's full of relevant work experience. And, the employers are now looking for extracurricular activities that can show off these skills. So what we've done here at Gradcracker, we've actually given students that are part of student STEM societies a free space on Gradcracker. And it's a real shame because we don't actually have anyone from your university that's taking advantage of this. And like I say, it's absolutely free. Let me just see if there is any other product design societies on Gradcracker. I don't know if there is maybe a product design or mechanical society at your university, but yeah, anyway, these are the different societies, lots of different universities. And basically we've given them a free space on Gradcracker to gain new members and also to actually get employer likes from our employers. So I'll pick the former student one, picking it at random. But this is their company hub. We've built all this area for them, like I said, completely free. And then these are the companies that have liked the society. And these companies have basically said, we want to receive an application from you because they've looked at the society hub. They think it's a great thing, that they're involved in. And what a great way to be involved in something like this and actually turn the tables and actually get employers come to you saying, we want you to apply to our opportunities. So, it does go a really long way. Again, the more that you hear from recruiters, they're saying all the time, these are the kind of skills, kind of things they want to see in an application. So if you want to get involved, please do either drop me or my colleague Georgia an email and we can get you set up. And yeah, you might as well get involved if you're already a society that's already up and running and take full advantage of it. And it looks fantastic on your CV, honestly. It looks great, so get involved. Okay, I can see there's some questions. I don't know if you've been answering them, Ahmed, but...
No, one of the questions were like, in terms of the applications, Oluseyi was saying, did you just say one a week in terms of making applications?
I would say, yeah, at least one a week. That's the kind of time frame I'd be working towards if you can.
Amazing. And Carlos Ariel, Hualapa, he was asking, can you explain the 3M again, please?
3M?
Mm-hmm.
So that's an employer, sorry, that I followed. So let me go to... So this is 3M. This is the company called 3M. Now, currently, their placements and graduate opportunities are closed. And they've said that they're not going to open their opportunities till the winter. So that could be next month, it could be January, it could be February. So what I'd recommend you to do if you do come across an employer that is closed is to follow them. So that's what I was saying. So for example, this is what 3M, that's their current recruitment status. So if you follow them, you can still do all your research about the company. You can still find out what they have to offer. And then if you follow them, we'll alert you as soon as their placement or grad roles have opened. Yeah.
Amazing.
Cool.
Thanks for that, Jessica. It was a brilliant and really detailed overview on like navigating and using Gradcracker. And guys, feel free to continue to gather your thoughts and your questions and your comments as usual in the chat. And if you want to go live and interact and ask Jessica questions, feel free to obviously unmute yourselves as well if you wanted to do that. So yeah, like any questions coming through, guys?
Yeah, no, please do ask, because honestly, no, like I said earlier, no question is a silly question, you know. Is anyone started applying? Is anyone putting applications in? Oh, hi.
Hello, Jessica. My name is Totvadas, and I do agree with you completely about placement because last year I was extremely lucky. I did a placement at Dow Alberts and Goodyear, and both of them were paid and everything was fine. And at the moment I'm applying, I yesterday applied to 4 companies, I think, something like that.
Yeah.
And I did already psychometric test with Airbus. And I have one upcoming with Rolls-Royce. But I wanted to ask you, let's say with the situation that I have currently with Airbus, I did psychometric test a month ago. Okay. On their tracking thingy that they have on their system, it still says it's tracking. And I was thinking to write with their HR and just ask about the timeline. So my question to you would be, from your experience, how long does it take for the companies to get back to the students? I know it varies by company, because let's say for the Albers, they got everything sorted in 1 week, literally.
Yeah. Can I just check with you, is the opportunity that you've applied to, is that now officially closed for applications? Or is it still open?
It was literally closed 2 weeks ago.
Okay, so.
But the one that I applied right now for Rolls-Royce and Samsung is still open.
Okay, so to be honest, I would give them a little bit longer. I would probably give them at least a maximum, that doesn't make sense, a maximum time frame of 2 months. But what I can do is we can actually contact Airbus and see where your actual application is at. But usually, if they've only just closed it a couple of weeks ago, they probably have quite a lot of applications and they're probably doing sifting. Now, I know it can be really frustrating, you know, when you want to see, you want to know where you're at. But if you don't mind, what I'll do is I'll put my email address in the chat. And if you just want to let me know the role that you applied to, and if you're happy, if you give me your name and say your email address, and if you're happy for me to pass that on, I can contact them and see if we can get a bit of a response on it. But to be honest, I wouldn't worry. Sometimes in this situation, no news is actually good news, because sometimes they're quite quick to tell you no. And if you haven't heard a response, it's probably that your application is still going through the system and they haven't rejected it yet. So I wouldn't worry.
And what about recommendations? Because the situation is that I was lucky with my career so far. I have I did 3 business mentorship programs in Singapore, in Italy and stuff like that. And quite different. So I literally have to put like 2-page CV, but I managed to get quite a few recommendation letters. And what I do right now is to add them on my CV as literally just. So in total, my CV is like 6 pages, but 4 or 5 of them are just recommendations. Is it a good practice to do that with CV? I know that majority of companies nowadays are just scanning them through. So
yeah, absolutely. I think I don't know if Ahmed, you want to add to this, if you might have a different opinion, but I think maybe what I would do is I would maybe either keep your recommendations to maybe 2, keep your CV to 2 pages max. And then what I would maybe do is a line underneath saying you've got X amount of other people that would also be willing to give a reference. And, you know, you can give those references on demand if they want to contact those people. I think that's what I would do. I know from my experience, lots of employers want to keep it at two pages max. So that's what I would say. And then say you've got X amount of other people that want to give a reference, but I would put the 2 best ones on your CV.
Yeah, no, definitely. I agree with that as well. And then you can write, you know, like reference letters available on request.
Yeah.
You know, and just to notify them that you have that available. With a lot of the digital submissions as well, like, you know, for example, if you're sending like a digital PDF and stuff, you could also like link that within a hyperlink or something like that,
yeah,
to your Google Drive or something like this. And then, you know, if they wanted to see those, they could obviously, you know, connect, download and see that. But then, like Jessica mentioned, you know, keep it, you know, short, brief, concise. And, you know, like employers are generally scanning like, you know, tens or hundreds of these.
Yeah, absolutely. So you want to keep it brief. That's a really good idea, is almost linking to a Google Doc page, or, you know, attaching it as maybe a PDF or whatever with additional. Yeah, why not?
Amazing.
Because that's if it's going to make your application stand out, cram it all in, link to it.
Thank you so much.
Amazing. And another question coming from James Buhan is asking, are the jobs on Gradcracker just based in and around the UK, or are there job opportunities available worldwide?
Yeah, so it's a bit different. I mean, in previous years, there has been a lot more international opportunities on Gradcracker, but because of the pandemic, I'm going to be honest with you all, majority of the roles are based in the UK. But if you do search hunt by region and city, you then can search by Europe and the rest of the world. So yeah, just to let you know, obviously there isn't as many, but you can use that search on Gradcracker. Another thing to kind of add to that, you know, do bear that in mind, that, you know, there is a huge array of different types of employer on Gradcracker. So for example, you know, Siemens, which is a good employer there, with them being there, is, you know, their organization, you know, works across the globe. So it might be that you actually start, you know, in the UK, but then say after your experience or during your experience, you could say, I've got a real interest in going, I don't know, elsewhere, wherever elsewhere may be for you. So, you know, don't put it off. Don't feel like you know, you have to start in that particular location. It could be that you start in the UK, but then you end up in another location if that's where you want to be. So know where that, if that's your goal, great. But yeah, just be open to different ways of getting there.
Amazing. Another question coming through as well. Do you accept international students, and do you offer them tier 2 visas?
Okay, so it's not actually Gradcracker that would offer that. Obviously, it is the employer. Now, we will give you that information within the job description or within the company hub of Gradcracker. Some employers you'll find, mostly if they work in the defence sector, they might not be able to offer that sponsorship. If you're still not sure after looking through the job description and the company hub, again, don't hesitate to drop us an email and then we can find out directly about that information. But if we do know it, we do urge the employers to give us that information, and we will give that information, like I said, within the company hub.
Amazing. Any other questions coming through in the chat, guys? Feel free to go live as well if you had any questions.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hi.
Yes, I'm Carlos.
Oh, hi, Carlos.
Cool. Yeah, I have a question. I'm thinking to apply, but my question is, which documents do you recommend to send to the company? Which one you wanna apply? The CV, cover letter, something else that you see maybe something different and that's better.
Yeah, I think that's a good one. Typically, it would just be a cover letter and a CV. But if you've maybe got an online portfolio, or if you've got something which you can link to or show that could maybe back up, you know, a statement or something you've mentioned. So we mentioned earlier about references, and if you've already got a letter that, from another employee or something that can prove those experiences, absolutely maybe attach those as a PDF or an additional document. So anything like that would definitely go. I know for a lot of the IT students that I speak to, if they've got maybe an online portfolio in GitHub or something like that, that's something great to link to or attach. So absolutely, anything that you can maybe to back up or evidence of, I would maybe recommend you to do that. Obviously, it depends on the employer and the application as well, just to specify that. It might be that you can, and they only want a certain type of document. But if you can, again, more the merrier. It shows that you're making the effort.
Cool. Okay, thank you, Jessica.
Amazing. And Tarika is asking, I know it differs in each company, but what's the average time frame for the full application process?
Oh, gosh. Now, again, I'm being general, but I'll try and answer this question. I would say, and I would probably say, and again, I'm being very general, that the larger organizations, it could be that it's a longer process. For example, because it might be that they get more applications, might be because they've got multiple rounds of the application process. So for example, it could be that you are applying now, and it might actually not be till springtime. You could be going for assessment center, then actually finding out if you've got the job or not. I would say with more of the smaller companies, there's actually a company I work with on Gradcracker called EES, and I actually work with the CEO of the business. There's 20 people in the business, and he just wants a quick video interview. He wants you to come into the office, and you probably could find out within 2 weeks if you've got the job. So it really does vary, but I would probably say, and I'm generalizing again, depending on if it's a large organization or a smaller one, to say how agile it can be in terms of turning things around.
Amazing. And I think that concludes all of the questions. If there's any more, feel free to post those in the chat. Otherwise, Jessica, a fantastic talk and Q&A. So thanks a lot for your talk and your time.
You're welcome.
Details of, details were sent to all of your emails ahead of the talk, including links to the Gradcracker website as well, and all of the social media handles. So definitely feel free to browse, connect, and happy applying. And to conclude,
happy applying.
And to conclude, guys, thanks, Jessica, for taking out your time and joining us tonight. It was very informative, a great overview of Gradcracker, navigating and applying for placements and positions. And to all of the participants and attendees who've joined us tonight as well, we really look forward to seeing you all again next week. So keep an eye on your emails for the details of the speaker and the links to the next talk as well. So until next time, stay well, stay safe, and thank you, guys.
Oh, thank you so much. Bye, everyone. Have a lovely evening. Bye.